So today we will see filtering filtering techniques so we have already seen general condition and wildcard rule and measure filters also. So today we will see dimension filters and we will see other two options like condition option and top options. Okay, so let me explain it this one how it will be. So very important thing. So like if you want to understand most of the important concepts like LODs, right? So we have to understand this concept. Okay, so I have a customer name. I have customers. So assume that customer has made a sales and in a particular region. So assume that I have one customer C1. He made a sales of like rupees 5,000 from each region. And we already know that whatever the data we have in the databases, that is a row level data. So because of that reason, I am taking the person C1 in two rows. A person C1 in two rows. So assume that person C1 now made a transaction like 7,000 sales from West region. So it is very important. Now assume that we have one more person. So don't bother about how many persons you have. The concept is like we have person one, like assume that person two, he made a transaction of like rupees 11,000. Assume that the region may be any region like West region. Okay. So you see here, customer one has made 5,000 rupees in each region. Same customer C1 has made transaction from West region 7,000. And what is the aggregated data now for C1 person? C1 is like 7,000 plus 5,000 because he is from the both regions. So when we are from both regions, it is combining to 12,000, 12K. Now aggregated data for C2 person is 11,000. Now my next question is, so my first question is, I want to see the aggregated data at each person level, customer level. Now my second question is like, how many customers are there having sales greater than or equal to 10,000? Simple. My overall requirement is I want to display how many customers are there who is having sales value greater than 10,000. So it is a row level data. And when I aggregate it, we have to aggregate, right? Why? Because if we compare it each row level, right, then customer one is having in the first row less than 10,000. In the second row, it is also less than 10,000. So, but my overall thing is, orally at aggregated level, customer one has made 12,000 rupees, customer two 11,000. And my final requirement is how many customers are there having sales greater than 10,000. So I can simply say I'll come to this aggregated result and I will see customer one is having sales greater than 10,000. So one customer C2 also having sales greater than 10,000. So total answer is like 2. So it is a count of customers having sales greater than 10,000. Now my next requirement is I want to have a filter here. I'll tell you, I want to have a filter here. In that filter, if I select region East, from East region, I want to see how many customers are there. Okay. You see, customer one has made transaction greater than 10,000 from different regions, but at aggregated level, it is 12,000. Okay. But if I consider individual regions, right, then it will be different. So for example, now what I will do is, now I'll drag the region into filter shelf. Now I consider region into filter shelf. Mhm. Okay, so let me tell you up to here and how to validate this one actually, how to achieve a requirement till this point. Okay. So I'll just simply going to a sheet here. So if you have, even if you have very small question also, right, just let me know. Why? Because important thing. Okay. So just drag the customer name into, you see what is happening actually. So when I drag sales into text here, it will give you the overall sales. When I drag customer name, you see the same total sales are divided for each customer, aggregated at each customer level. Now just arrange it in a descending order. Now you see all these are customers having sales value, some sales value. But what is my requirement? I want to see the total persons who are having sales value greater than 10,000. So simply what I will do, I'll simply drag my sales into the filter shelf. I'll simply select the sum here. Why? Because why I am selecting sum here? On this aggregated level, I want to apply filter. So we have to select sum here. So at least we have to select 10,000. Okay. Now you see how many customers are there in this customer. So let's make it 15,000. Just to make it bit simple. So I'm making 15,000. So my requirement is I want to find out how many customers are there having sales value of greater than 15,000. So assume that this person is having 20K here, and here this person is having like 9,000, and maybe here it is having like 12,000. So when I combine it, 12 plus 9, it is 21. 21K. Okay. Now it is 20K. The answer is same actually. Okay. So how many customers are there having sales greater than 15,000 means how we'll do manually means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that we have to count actually. But here we need not to count actually. So without counting, right, you can simply come down here. I can see 19 rows. 19 rows means there are 19 customers are there. But what is my requirement finally? I want to show 19 customers are there, right? I want to show count 19 only in the sheet. I don't want to show all these persons. I want to show only 19K here. Sorry, 19 only in the sheet. So this is sheet 19. Just remember, in the sheet 19, we just have filtered this data. But to achieve the same, if I want to show the count, right, there is a different method actually. So what I will do is, first I'm counting overall number of customers. So the overall number of customers is how to find out. There are two methods. Simply drag the customer name into text here, then convert this into count distinct. Now it is showing 793 customers are there overally. So I'm not applying any condition. Overally, this many customers are there. So the second method, the simplest method is I'm just creating a calculation field here. So we have an aggregated function, so which is called count distinct. So I'll just let me show you aggregated functions. So all these are the basic aggregation functions which are available in any of the tool, maybe Power BI, SQL servers, all those. Okay. Sum, min, max, average. Average means AVG, count distinct. So all these are the minimum basic. So why do we use count distinct? Means if I want to count how many customers are there, right, then I can use this count D function. So for this count D function, what is the input I am providing? Customer name. So what this simply will do is it will simply count how many distinct customers are there. Okay. So for the calculation, I'm just giving count of customers. Simply drag this count of customers into text here. It is showing overall customers. So in this, we are not applying any filter. That means these 793 are customers having sales, different sales they have. Some customers are having greater than 10,000. Some customers are having less than 10,000. Like that, we have different sales range we have. Now, in out of these 793 customers, I want to find out, I want to show how many customers are there having sales greater than 15,000. How to do this requirement is simply drag the customer name into filter shelf, go to the user option. Now come to the condition option. In the condition option, we have by field option and we have by formula option. So I'll come to by field option. So here I want to link the customer. I want to link the customer to a sales value here. So for that, what I will do, I'll come to by field. Here we'll have to simply select the sales value. Okay. Now here you have to choose the aggregation function is sum here. Why? Because if you go here for this example, first I have to aggregate, right? First I have to aggregate all these customers to a single row using sum function. So this 20,000 is because of summation of these two rows. So how to achieve this aggregation means this thing. You select the sum function here, link the customer name to sales here. So what it will do is, it will try to find out for each and every customer what are the total sales, sum of sales. Now, my next requirement is I want to put a condition greater than or equal to 15,000. Simple. So this is the condition I want to apply. Now what it will do is, what this will do, I will tell you. First, it will go to customer one. It will try to find out aggregated sales, like just assume that 15,000, 50K. It will go to customer two. It will do the aggregation for this entire customer, like maybe like 60,000, like that, 60K. Like that, for each and every customer, it will do the aggregations. After that, it will apply this condition. So when now, if this condition is, for example, assume that this, for this person, this is 3K. For this person, this is 2K. So according to this condition, these two customers are eliminated. These two customers are eliminated. It will consider only these two customers only. Like these two customers, we have so many customers. Okay. Now, in the sheet, we are using count distinct, right? So it will simply count all these members. One, customer two, like that. Only these two persons, it will count actually. Why? Because the remaining customers are eliminated based on the condition. Okay. Simply click on OK here. Now you see I got 19 customers. So to find out whether it is correct answer or not, what I will do, I'll go to my sheet 19, where we are doing this manually. Here you see, I just simply applied a sales condition, filter condition manually here without using condition option. I can see 19 customers are there. Okay, very good. Okay, now we got my answer. I got my answer now. Now we have to go to our next requirement. My next requirement is, from each region, I want to see how many customers are there. From each region, I want to see how many customers are there having sales value greater than or equal to 15,000. So what I do simply, in general, what we do simply is, I'll simply drag a region into the filter shelf. Just select use all option here. Now you see from all regions 19,000. When you click on show filter here, you see I want to show the customer from central region, right? You can simply select central here. Now you see I got answer 18 here. So in the filter shell, when I select central here, what is the answer I got here is 18. Now we cannot simply decide that this answer is correct. We have to test it whether it is correct or not. So for this, what I will do, we have to do the thing, we have to test it manually. So in general, what we do test, in general, how we can test is, I can go to sheet 19 here. Here we have these customers are there, right? Now what I will do, I'll simply drag the region into row shelf here. Just see what will happen. See, when I drag the region into row shelf, now you see how many customers I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 customers are only there. You see, 14 rows are there. Earlier, I have 19 customers, but when I drag region into row shelf, it is becoming now 14 customers. How is it possible? How is it possible means, this simple thing only. Now you see, for the same for the same example, I got 2 here. But you see, for the customer one is from both the regions, right? Because of that reason, when I drag the region into row shelf, after that I have customer name, and after that I have sales. So when I drag the region into the row shelf, the same customer C1 is in the central region and same person in the west region. Because of this reason, these sales are divided now to 9,000, and for the same person, sales are divided to 12,000. 12,000. And for the other person, he is only in the one region only. So that is in the west region. For this person, sales is C2 equal to like 20,000. Now, for the same thing, we have applied some condition in the filter self, right? What is the condition we have applied? Sales greater than or equal to 15,000, we have applied a condition. Now, when this condition is applied for each row in the sheet, this person is not satisfied, this row is not satisfied, this row is not satisfied, only this row is satisfied. Now we see what is the difference you come to know, right? When we have only customers in the sheet, we are getting 2 count here. But when you drag the region into the row shelf here, the same 21K is divided for each region, 9K and 12K. In this case, the same filter condition is not satisfied for this row and this row. Because of that reason, C1 is completely eliminated. Because of that reason, this 2 is becoming now 1 here. Okay. The same reason here also. The same reason here also. So when you drag the region into the row shelf here, some customers are not coming here because overall they are making 19,000, maybe greater than 15,000. When we drag the region into the row shelf, the same sales are divided for each region. In that case, that the filter what we have applied is greater than 15,000, at least 15,000 is not satisfying. Because of that reason, some people disappear here. Okay. Now you see from central region how many persons are there? Only 2 customers are there. From east region how many customers are there? You see when you click on this, right? It in the tooltip it will show 4 items selected. That means we have four rows are there like that. When you select south region, from south region we have 6 customers like that. Okay. So this is how we have to evaluate manually. And if I go to my sheet 20, in the sheet 20, I have applied a region equal to each. In this one, what I am doing, I am not dragging my region to the row shelf here. Simply, I am using the region as a filter here. And when I select central here, I am showing the count is showing 18 here, which is a wrong value. What should be the value of count of customers here? It should be 2 persons only. Okay. But in this sheet, why it is still showing 18 here? Why? Because in this sheet, what is the filter we have applied for greater than 15,000 condition? We are using the condition option here. We are using the condition option here. So what this condition option will do is, this condition option will not depend upon any filters. This condition option will not depend upon any other region filter, any other filters. So this condition option, what it will do? It will, I'll tell you, for C1 customer, we have a sales 21K, right? For C2, we have, in the Excel I'm showing, for C2, we have 22K, 20K. So this condition option will fix this aggregation for each customer. This condition option will fix the aggregation for each customer. Next time, when you apply this, when you apply this filter also, right, it won't disturb this condition. So based on this condition, we are getting count 2. Even though if you apply region filter, this condition option will completely ignore these filters, and still it will show the count is 2 only, like that. Because of that reason, we are getting some wrong answer here, 18. Okay. Now, what is the thing? So if it is your requirement, your customer is asking that I want to show like this only, right? Then you can proceed with this option only. But if your customer is asking that, no, when we select the central region, I want to show the total customers which are having sales greater than 15,000 is 2 only I want to show. If this is your customer requirement, then what we have to do is just come to the sheet 20 here. We are applying on which dimension we are applying filter? Central region, right? Come to the filter shelf, go to the region here, region drop down, simply add it to the context filter. Now you see, when I add this to the context filter, now I got the correct answer is 2. Now, what are the filters you will add to the context, right? Those filters will appear in a hash color like that. Okay. Now we will see what is the use of the what is the meaning of this context filter bit later. But now you see, if you want to achieve the correct result like 2, we have to apply the region filter to the context filter. Now, when you change from central to east region, now you see what is the answer it is showing? 4 customers. If you want to verify whether it is correct or not, you can go to sheet 19. In the sheet 19, we have applied other things manually here. In the east region, I have four only. So it is giving correct answer. Now I'll go to sheet 19, sheet 20. I will select south region. It is showing 2 here. Come to sheet 19. For south, it is showing 2 customers only. These 2 customers are having sales greater than 15,000. So which is correct answer, like that. So we'll discuss about this context filter a bit later. But to achieve this requirement, we have to add this filter to the context filter, region to the context filter. Not only this one, even if you have any other filters also, right? You have to add those filters also to the context filter. Except one filter, which you are using the customer name, right? For this customer name only, we are applying the condition option. So except for this customer name filter, remaining filters we have to apply for the context filter. Okay. What will happen? I will tell you when you apply the some filter to the context filter. I will tell you what will happen. So as of now, what is the main data source for us? Sample superstore. Okay. Now this condition option will take the data from the sample superstore without depending upon this filter. Now, when you apply context filter, now this context filter will become the data source. This context filter will become the data source. Now, in this context filter, what is the filter we have selected here? South region we have selected. So what the Tableau will do is, with this south region, the Tableau will generate a separate database or a separate table in the backend. And all the filters, including this condition option, also will take the data from this context filter only. Okay? All the filters, including this context filter, will take the data from this context filter only. The Tableau will completely ignore the other regions except the south region, because we have selected in the this region in the context filter. Now this context data will act as a entire database, and from this on this database it will apply this condition option. When we apply on the south region only, we'll obviously get the region 2 here, sorry, counties 2 here. Okay. Now when you select each region, Tableau temporarily create a database or a database table in the backend with only each region data. In that table we have only each region data only. On top of that, we are applying this condition option, which is giving you the 4 here. Count is 4. Okay. So this is how we have to apply to achieve your requirement. Particularly when you are using condition option, I'll tell you how to remember this one. We have a concept in Tableau, which is called order of filters. Oh my God. Okay. So order of filters, it is not appearing here, not sure. Okay. So order of filters in Tableau. See, this is the order of filters in Tableau. First, it will take extract filters. Extract filters means we have taken the extract, right? That one, data source filters, then context filters. After context filters, you see what are coming? Dimension filters. But you see, between context filters and dimension filters, we have sets, conditional filters. Conditional means whatever the condition we have applied, that filter, top end filter, fixed LODs. So all these actually, whenever you are using these concepts, you have to be very conscious about applying the context filter. Whenever you're using sets, conditional filters, top and fixed LOD, whenever you are using these concepts, we have to use context filters based on your requirement. Based on your requirement in the sense, I told you know, if the requirement of the customer is like that, you have to apply this context filter. Why? Because all these filters, see, this is the order of filters. When I say order of the filters, right? So this is the main data source. This whatever the data we have in the main data source, that is coming to the data source filters. Whatever the data we have in the data source filter, that is coming to the context filters. Whatever the data we have in the context filters, that is coming to the actually this conditional sets and all these, also to the dimension filters. Like that, this is the order of the filter. So this is the highest thing, and so it is the from top to bottom the data is going to change actually. If we don't apply context filter, then these all these condition sets will take the data from data source filters or extract filters only, like that. Hope you understand. If you don't understand, I will tell you one more example, but let me tell you how to achieve the same requirement in another way. So as I told you, whenever you change this filter selection for the context filter, right? Tableau is going to create a separate table in the backend with this context filter values. So every time you change this context filter values, Tableau has to create every time a separate table in the backend. Because of this reason, if you try to apply more filters, for example, if you try to apply more filters to the context filter, then Tableau will take some time to create a table in the backend. Because of that reason, the performance will decreases. The performance will decrease sometimes. Okay. So then, how without applying context filters, how to achieve the same requirement? Without using context filters, how to achieve the same requirement? Simple one. Now I'm removing the region filter from the filter shelf. The next method is now go to the filters, customer name, where we have applied the context condition option. Just to go to the filter here. Now, instead of applying by field option, now apply the by formula option. Just click on the by formula. In the by formula also, whatever we did in the by field option, right? We will do the same thing also. In by field, what we have done, we have selected sales here, we have selected sum here, then we have applied this condition. We'll do the same thing here also. First, we will apply sum here, then sum of sales should be greater than or equal to 15,000. Okay. Now you see what is the answer we will get. Just click on apply. Now also when I click on apply, right, I got the same answer 19 also now. Now what I will do here is without applying context filter, I'm just remodifying this one. I'm just modifying this calculation. Now before applying this condition, I am applying my filter condition within this calculation. So I'm just filtering these sales to particular region. Like I'm just applying if condition here. If region equal to central, then I want sales. Then we have to apply end here. Now you see what? Now just see what I am doing here is, see, before applying this condition only, I'm applying my filter condition. In this way, the condition option will depend upon this filter option. See, I'm just taking this sales here after filtering. After filtering to the central region, then I'm taking these sales. After doing the summation of all these condition applied, then I'm applying my overall condition greater than 15,000. Now you see, just click on apply here. Now I got answer 2, which is similar to the earlier one. Now if we change it to east region, just click on apply. Now I got the answer 4, which is same when I got after applying context filter, right? Whatever the answer I got when apply a context filter, right? I'm getting the same answer. So if you want to achieve the same requirement which you are achieving in the context filter, right? Then you have to apply these conditions. But we have some limitation here. What is the limitation with this option? You may ask that we can go to this condition only. We can go to this option only without going for that context filter. But in this formula, we have some limitation here. We'll see what are the limitations. First thing, the user is not accessible to this calculation. Why? Because the user cannot come to this calculation and he can't change every time this calculation. Why? Because in the server, this filter option is this calculation is not available to the user. So because of this reason only, in yesterday class, we have discussed about parameters. Now what I will do, I'll, so it is a manual entry, right? So wherever we have manual entries in the calculation, we can replace those manual entries with a parameter. Now what I will do, I'll create a parameter with all these regions like east, west, north, south. With all the regions, I will create a calculation field. sorry, parameter. I'll create a parameter. Now I'll remove this manual entry and I'll replace this manual entry with the parameter, or I'll replace this static value with a parameter. Okay. Now let's create a parameter with all the regions. Now what I can do simply, I'll simply go to create parameter option. Now, east, west, north, south, all those string values, right? So data type, I can select string here. Current value, you can select anything. East, you can select. And I'll come to list option here. I'll provide all these values, central, east. I'll write all these values manually. But you see here, we have two more options here. We have fixed option and we have when workbook opens options are there. So without typing all these values, central, east, north, all values manually, what I will do is I'll go to my fixed option. From this add values from, I'll select a data source here. The data source is sample superstore. From this sample superstore, I will try to select a region field here. Now you see, when I do that, the parameter is automatically populated with all the regions, whatever the regions we have in the region field. But the thing here is it's showing some error here because central is we have entered manually first time and it has taken automatically here sometimes. So we can remove one of these actually. Now you can see like this. Okay. So this is one of the option, and without going for fixed option also we can use when workbook opens also we can use. Now from the one when workbook opens also same option, same thing here. In the here also I can go to sample superstore. I can select region here. But what is the difference between this fixed option and this when workbook opens option? So when workbook open option is not available in the earlier versions. So this option is introduced in the 2019 version. So before 2019 version, we don't have this option. We have fixed option only we have. Then what is the advantage of this when workbook open option? Simply you can see here. Fixed means whatever the values we have in the parameter today while creating parameter, these values will be static always. But when we go for example, when you go for fixed option, after 10 days, we have one more region, US region is added to the region field. Okay, we have region field, right? For this region field, new regions are added. Those new regions are not added to this parameter if we use this fixed option. But if you go for this when workbook open option, and if you go for this region, right? Now, whenever we open this workbook, right, Tableau automatically goes to this a particular region field, and whatever the regions we will have in this region field, it will automatically populate. If this region is having new regions, right, then this parameter will be automatically populated with those new regions also. So this is called dynamic parameter concept. So what is the meaning of dynamic parameter? Means you can explain these things. For example, I'm creating a region parameter today. If you use fixed option, if the if you use fixed option, and if I created 4 regions in the parameter, these 4 regions are going to be fixed always. Even though region contains even though region if the region is added with new regions in the future, though those regions will not be reflected in this fixed option. So for that, if you want to see the new regions which are added to this region field in future to this parameter also, we have to go for this when workbook opens option. Okay. For now, I'm going for this fixed option. Now let's click on OK. So this is the one option. One more option how I can create the parameter is directly go to the region, click on this drop down, go to create parameter option. Automatically parameter name is created as region parameter. Data type is selected as string here automatically. Some default value is given here. List is given. Automatically all the region values will appear here, and I can see here fixed is selected. Later, if you want to select when workbook open, you can select this option. Okay, just now click on OK. You see region parameter is added here. When you click on show parameter, nothing is happening. If I select other regions, east, south, north, west, right, nothing is happening to this calculation. Why? Because we are not using this parameter. We have created parameter. We are not using this parameter anywhere. So I'll go to my filter shelf, go to edit filter. Remove this west here, which is manual entry. Now drag this region here, or you can type a region parameter like that. You see some population coming like that. Just select here. Now just click on OK. Now you see when you select east, I can see 4 here. When you select central, I can see 2 here. So without using context filter, I was able to achieve this requirement. But here I told you some limitation we have, right? We'll see now what is the limitation here. Now the limitation with this parameter option is the parameters are always single select only. If the user when the user select east region, automatically central is deselected. When the user selected south region, automatically other regions are deselected. So it is a single value selection. So parameters are always single selection parameters only. In parameters, we can select always single value only at a time. If the user want to select east region and south region at a time, he cannot achieve that using parameters. If you go for this parameter drop down, we don't have an option here multiple value selection. We have compact list. That means a drop down will come here. Still, user can select only one region only here. If you go for single select, type in we don't have multiple selections. So because of that reason, what we will do is we'll apply for or we will go for in that cases if the user is asking for multiple value selection, then we go for context filters. So if this is a normal dimension filter, right? When we show it as a filter to the user, see user can select central and east at a time. So you can select multiple regions at a time. Because if you go to this drop down for normal filters, all options are available. Single value selection, single value drop down, multiple value selection, multiple values drop down. Like that for normal filters, we have all the options. So if the user want to select multiple region, go for context filter option. If the user is not asking for multiple selections, then go for this parameter option. Hope you understood. Let me know if you have any question if you don't understand. So we have to remember this mainly this option. This order of filters we have to remember. So the data is passing from higher order filters to lower order filters. So this is the higher order filters. Assume that we have 2011 data, here we have 2012 data we have. So this data is coming to all the filters down to the filters. For example, using this data source filters, we have applied a filter to show only 2011 data only, right? Now to this data source filters, what is the next filter? Context filter. In the context filter, it will take the data from this data source filters only. In this data source filters, we have 2011 data only. Like that. So it is the order of the filters we have to remember. So we'll go one by one slowly. Not a problem. So if you are understand this concept only, we'll go to the you can achieve the next requirements only. Okay, hope you understand. This is the basic things. Just remember. Okay. Now you'll see in the if I go for edit filters, right? If I go for by field option, we have minimum value and maximum value also there, right? So if you go for like if you can select any measure here. You can select sales like that. You can select anything here. Okay. Okay. So hope you understood by field and by formula option. For example, here I'm applying some condition here, right? So now after applying condition, now if you go to general option, you see what is there. So I told you initially here, when you apply some condition, under condition it will show you what are the condition we have applied. Selection we have selected all selections. Wildcard we have not applied any. In the limit option, limit means I told you it is a top option. In the limit option also we have not done anything like that. Okay. Now we'll go to the top option. So okay.
Venkat,
So
I
we
have one question to ask.
yeah.
Uh, Venkat, when we put in a context filter or a parameter, right? And the user chooses one, like for instance, the user chooses east, and the sheet is filtered to only show the subset of
Mm,
that data, right?
yeah.
Would that like criteria be like convert like applied to other sheets in the same report as well?
This condition option you are saying it will be applied for the other sheets or not, right?
Yes, yes.
No, it will not apply for other sheets. Why? Because we are applying this condition only in this sheet only. So
Right.
I
It will
told you
be
that
oh,
if you want to apply the same filter to the other sheets also, right? So you can simply come to this filter drop down, just go to apply to worksheets option. Now this is applying only for this sheet only. Now you can go to selected worksheets option. Here you can select any sheets, whatever you want to apply. For which sheet you want to apply, you can select that thing here.
oh,
Okay.
great.
Anyway, you are asking, right? And let me complete the thing and that thing also. So if you go for apply to worksheets, you can simply select a worksheet and you can select any sheet. You can search for sheet also here. For example, if you think it is become difficult, right? Then what is your requirement is I want whatever the new sheet I will create for all those sheets, I want to apply this filter, right? In that case, you can go for all using this data source option. So by default, when you apply this condition, a single cylinder will apply here. That means this is applicable to all the sheets. In future also, whatever the sheet you will create, by default, this filter will be applicable for all the sheets. So sometimes this filter also called a global filter. Global filters. We will use always global filters in the dashboards actually. Okay. So let me show you how to. If I go for sheet 19, right? You see automatically that filter is applied here. If you go for any one of the sheet which is created from this data source, only sample superstore data source, you see automatically that filter is applied automatically. If you go for sheet 21, if you create new sheet 21, initially we don't see anything here, but if you drag any field like sales here, automatically that filter will be applied here like that. And anyway, we are discussing about this, right? Let's create a dashboard here. Randomly drag all the sheets here. For example, I'm using some 10 sheets in the dashboard. Okay, let me clear this. No? Let's go to let's place sheet 21, sheet 20, sheet 19, sheet 18 like that. And you see from sheet 19, I want to display some filters in the dashboard. Okay. From sheet 19, I want to display some filters in the dashboard. So go to sheet 19, just select sheet 19, go to this drop down, go to filters option, and from this you can select any filter. For example, customer name or region. Now you see, I can see that region here. As of now, this region is applicable only for this sheet 19 only. How I can say here is two things in two ways you can confirm. First thing is when you unselect all values in the region, only this sheet is going blank here. Why? Because we have not selected any value here. So that's why this sheet only is only going blank here. So in that way, you can confirm that this filter is applicable only for this sheet. Now the another method is go to sheet 19, go to drop down, go to filters. You see this region is selected here, check mark here. That means this region is coming from this sheet actually. And the other method is go to this filter drop down, go to apply to worksheets, selected worksheets. Now you see from which sheet this filter is coming, that sheet is shaded out here. That sheet is disabled, that sheet is disabled here. You can see check mark also here. That means this filter is coming from this filter, this sheet, and this filter is not applicable for any other sheet. And if you want to apply this filter to applicable for sheet 18, right, you can simply select sheet 18 here. For example, I have 10 sheets in the dashboard. I want to select all those 10 sheets. So I can go for select all on dashboard. When you click on select on all dashboards, automatically all sheets will be selected here. Now go to click on OK. Now you see when you uncheck all values here, all sheets are going blank here. You see this sheet is going blank, all sheets are going blank here. When you select all here, all sheets are, you can see, showing values here. When you select central here, all all sheets will show the central region data only. 1 minute. So this is how. And you see, whenever you place some filter in the sheet, right, we have multiple options are available. So this filter is occupying more space here. So you can click on this drop down. You can go to multiple values drop down. When you say drop down, when you click on this option, then only it will show all the values. And you see here we have one more option here. Go to customize option and just simply click on the show apply button. So when you click on the show apply button, right, you see two buttons will apply, show here, cancel button and apply button. Now, now what will happen is when the user select all values, right, till that when user select all the values what he want to select, and when he click on apply, then only those changes will apply in the dashboard. If you unselect all values, right, even though you select all values here, the data is not going blank in the sheets. Why? Because we have to apply on the apply button. Until that time, the changes will not apply into the dashboards. You see, when I click on apply button, then only the changes will be applied. So in general, we'll apply for every filter, we'll show this apply button in real time, except for single values drop down. Now we have one more option, like if you go to customize option, I want to show some options here for you. Like for example, okay, I want to show one thing here. Anyway, we are discussing about this thing, right? Okay, so we have a category here. Go to sheet here. We have category. See, under category, for furniture here, how many bookcases we have? Four bookcases. Sorry, under furniture, we have four subcategories. Under office supplies, we have eight subcategories. Okay, now what is my requirement is just to show the category as a filter and subcategory as a filter. Now you see, when I unselect all the categories, see, under furniture, how many bookcases we have, how many subcategories we have? Four only. Bookcases, chairs, furnishings, and tables only we have. Now, if you select furniture here, you see in the sheet it is showing only four bookcases only, four subcategories only. But if you come to this subcategory filter, by default here it is showing only four subcategories only. But in real time, it won't do like that. In real time, what it will do is it will show all values in the database. You see, whenever the all values in the database is selected, irrespective of the category value what you have selected here, it will show all the subcategories. But in the sheet only, it will show the corresponding subcategories. Sheet is filtered to those subcategories only, but this subcategory filter is still showing all the subcategories, which are coming under office supplies and technologies also, which are not selected here. So in the in the interviews, they will ask you, what is the meaning of cascading filters? Cascading filters. So cascading filters means one filter value depends upon the other filter values. So subcategory will show the only relevant values corresponding to the categories what you select in the category filter. The same option is available for all filters, only relevant values. Go for subcategory, select only relevant values. When you select only relevant values, whatever the value you will select in the category, corresponding subcategories will appear in the other filter dropdown. So this is the meaning of cascading filters. There is a difference between cascading filters and context filter. Context filter is a different concept. Cascading filter is a different concept. Okay. Now you see, if I select all categories here, and in the subcategory, if I select only appliances, right, and the category filter will show this appliance is coming under office supplies category. If you select paper here, this paper is coming under office supplies category. If you don't check these only relevant values, if you select all values in the database, it will show all the categories. Now the user will confuse that this paper is coming under which category. He don't know. But in the sheet you are showing, right, because of that reason he will come to know. But in the sometimes you don't show category and subcategory in the sheet. Sometimes you have to show only sales only in the sheet. Now this sales value is for paper only. But if you go to the category, you don't know this paper is coming under which category. Because of that reason, he has to check all these values like that, uncheck, uncheck, like that. He has to do everything. Okay, so when this value, when this thing is useful means I have one filter which is called region filter. Okay, I'll tell you one more option here. We have a region filter here. So for this location, actually, we have to remove the hierarchy. So as it is a sample superstore data, right? By default, it will apply some hierarchies here, but in real time, by default, we don't see all these hierarchies. Okay, so just remove the category and subcategory filter here for now, just to show the region filter, and we have state filter. So this is the perfect example I can say. Okay, so for a particular region, we have some particular states only. You can see, right? Go to multiple values drop down to reduce the space. Okay, now you see if I select central region, still the state will show all the regions, all the states here. But the user want, if the user is from central region, right? In the other filter, he want to see the central related states only. Why? Because when he selects central region, he can see total central value is 2689. But out of this 2069, you want to select, you want to see what is the sales for a particular state here. But he don't know which state is coming under central region. So he may confuse in that case. So we have to go for only relevant values option. In that case, when you click on this drop down, you can see under central, you can see Iowa and Texas only. Like we are applied this data source filter customer name, right? Condition option, right? You can remove that. So under central, you can see Ilias, Indiana, like that. If you select other like East region, under East region, you can see all this like that. Okay. So hope you understood. So this is called cascading filters. And if you want to, for example, if you go to sheet 19 here, in the sheet 19, if I go to filter shelf, I don't have category filter here. So what I have to do, if you don't have category filter here, I can first, you have to go to this sheet, add the category to this filter, here filter, user option. Now come to the sheet, come to the dashboard. Now go to the filters. Now you see that category here. You can click on this category. Now it will show in the dashboard. Then you can apply this to all the sheets in the dashboard. Select all worksheets or all these data source options like that. Now I want to cover one more topic here, which is called a top option. Okay, let me discuss about top option. Top option also same thing here. Top option also same thing. Here I want to take one more example for you. So I don't want to tell you the same example every time. So if I tell you different examples, you may understand. So I have a student name here. I have marks here. I have branch here. I have branch here. So I have student A. Marks is 10. For simplicity only, I will tell you. He is from ECE branch. Assume that the same person is got 20 marks from the CSC branch. In general, we don't have this situation, but if you student data, we can understand easily. That's why I'm telling you. I have one more person, like assume person B is there. He got uh, 30 marks from the East, from the assume that is okay. He got 15 marks. I want to tell you something here. That's why I have taken 15 here. Here we take like 8 here. Let's take this person is 20 here, and he is from CSC, assume that CSC branch. Simple data. Now just take this data, I will take it. See, if we have very small amount of data, right, you can simply select all this, simply do the copy, control C, go to the Tableau, click somewhere in the sheet, and just do control V. Just do control V. Automatically, the data will be pasted in the Tableau as a data source, as a clipboard, and you can see all the data in the sheet also here. Now you can, if you want, you can rename this data source also, like top top data. Okay. Now you see, I will tell you my requirement. If I aggregate this data, right? For example, student A, what is the total marks? 18 marks. And for student B, what is the total marks? 20 marks. Now, okay, sorry, take here 12 marks for this person A. In this way, it will become 20. Okay. Now let's copy this data, go to Tableau and paste it here. Sorry, I want to take some time here just to explain it clearly. So this clipboard data we have. Okay. Now, person, if I see, irrespective of the branch, if I see who is the top person here, obviously student A only. Who is the rank one person? Student A only. So I want to show that student here. So this is my requirement first in Tableau. Okay. Now I'll go to my Tableau. Simple example you can understand simply. So extend this data here. Okay. So I'll go to my clipboard data here. Simply drag the student name into the filter here, sheet here. Drag the total marks here. Now I can simply say who's the top one person, A person. So to show top one customer or top one student, what I will do, drag the name. So one student, right? So drag the name into filter shelf, go to use all option. Now go to the top option. Here also like condition option also, here also we have by field option and by formula option for top option also. Go to by field option. I want to show top one customer. So go to this drop down. Here I can see top option and bottom option. If you want to see bottom one customer or bottom one student, you can select this bottom here. For now, you can select top one customer here. You can type here manually. See, as it is a manual thing, when you go to this drop down here, you can see you can link this one value with a parameter actually. Why? Because when I type one here, the user is not able to change this one here. If he want to see the top five customers later, he can't see the top. He can't choose that. So you can create a parameter here always. Look at top one here. Based on the marks, I want to show top one customer. So select here marks, and based on the summation of the marks, I want to select. Okay, just click on OK. Now you see who is the top one customer as expected. Student A is the top one person. Now my user requirement is, user is asking me show branch as a filter. Show branch as a filter so that whenever I choose a particular branch, I want to see the top one customer from the selected branch here. So what is his requirement? When you show the branch as a filter, whatever the branch I will select, from the selected branch, I want to see the top one customer or top one student. But you see what is happening here. When the person is, when the user selected ECE, the, so when I select orally the person, student A is the top one person with 22 marks. But when the user is selecting ECE, from, if I go to my aggregated data, you see, if I see, if you go to ECE here, in the ECE, if you see, we have only person A, so it is showing person A with 10 marks in the Tableau sheet here. And when the user select CSE, now still what the Tableau is showing here, sorry, now still what the Tableau is showing here means, still Tableau is showing student A only as the top one student. Okay, but when the user is selecting CSC, it is not showing from the CSC. If you see from the CSC, who is the top customer? If you go for CSC, in the CSC we have two persons, a person A and person B in the CSC. But you see, out of these two students, top person is B person here. But Tableau is not showing this B person here. Still, it is showing person A only and corresponding marks from the CSC branch. Okay, so as I told you initially, this top option, right? What are the top option you are using for this name, right? This top option also will not consider these filters. But what it will do, if you select CSC, it will show the same top one customer overally. This is the top one person overally. Whatever the branch you will select, the Tableau will show always the same person overally, but it will show the corresponding marks from the corresponding branch, what he select. Like that, it will work. This normal filter will work like this. This top option and these normal filters will work like this. But the user will wonder that, hey, I have selected CSC branch. He can see the data also. When he check the data manually, in the CSC branch, he can see two persons. Top one person is B student here, but the table is not showing that. Why? Because this top option will not depend upon the normal filters. Like condition option, this top option also depends upon only on the context filter only. If I go to my order of the filters, this condition option and top option depend will take the data from the context filter only, not from the dimension filters. Okay, so what I will do now, I will apply context filter. So for this top end, this context filter act as a database. For example, when I apply CSC, when I select CSC branch in the context filter, this is now becoming the entire data source. In this data source, we don't have any CSC. So this top option, top one person also will be taken from the CSC only, like that. Okay. So now let's go to the CSC branch here. Let's apply the branch to the context filter. In real time, in the interviews, you may confuse that we have to apply the name to the context filter or branch to the context filter. Don't worry, whatever you are selecting, whatever the filter you are using for the selection right here, we have to apply those filters to the context. Now you see, now the database is now the CSC, now this context filter is acting as a database. In this database, we have only CSC data only. Now this top one filter, top one person will be taken from the CSC branch now, like B20. Okay. So this is about this top option. And if you want to achieve the same requirement without using context filter, now let's go for edit the filter. Simple without applying top option here, go for by formula option. Here also I can see one only here. Here we have to write manually. So based on the sum of marks, I want to see up one person, right? So just apply sum of marks here. Just click on apply. Still I can see person A is a top one person. Okay, it is giving correct answer now. Now, as I told you earlier, before applying the marks, we have to filter it to the CSC branch or corresponding branches. So you can apply condition here. If branch equal to like the whatever the we have created some parameters and we have applied some filters, right? For condition option, we can apply the same thing here also for top option also. Now it is with the sample data, student data. You can explain this example in the real time. Now let's go for the sample superstore here. Now I have a customers here. Each customer is having making a some different sales here. Now when you arrange it right in a descending order, I want to show top 5 customers here based on the sales value. Based on the sales, I want to show top 5 customers. Simple. Drag the customer name into the filter shelf. Go to user option. Go to top option. By field, top 5 customers. I'm telling you here itself. If you write 5 here manually, user can't change this value. Go to create parameter option. If you have already created a parameter, you can select those parameter here. If you want to create new parameter, you can create that parameter. So this is the parameter for, I can say it is a top n parameter. Okay. So automatically range is selected here. Minimum maximum is selected here. I told you about these values yesterday. Just click on OK. Now you see, whenever you change the value in this top n parameter, that will be reflected here. Okay. Just click on OK. Now you see, go to top n parameter, just show this as a parameter. Now when you select, just go to type in here. When you select 5, it will show top 5 customers. When you select 7, it will show top 7 customers. Okay, if you type 10, it will show top 10 customers. But it is not changing. So sorry, not this parameter. This is we have to choose top 10 top n parameter actually, not this one. Sorry. So when you say type top 10 here, it will show top 10 customers based on the sales value here. So this is the automatic here. In future, if some customer is making more sales than this first customer, that person will automatically will coming under top here like that. Okay. Now this is the first thing I want to tell you. The second requirement. Okay. So now if you want to see the out of this top 10 customer, you want to see how many customers are there from the east region, right? You can simply go to east region, select east region. So all these are persons from the out of the 10 customer, these customers are from central region. So this is a different requirement. Okay. But whatever the region you will select, from that region only you want to see the top 10 customers, right? You see as of now what it is showing. You see, okay, if you select, for example, east here, it is showing 8 only. See, when you select east region and here I select 10 here, top 10 here, it is not showing top 10 here. It is showing 8 only here. Why? Because this top option will not depend upon this region filter now. Now what it will do? Out of this 10 customer, 8 customers are from 8 customers are common in east region also. Like that. So not common. 8 customers are from uh, east region like that. It is not showing the top 10 customers from the east region here. To do that, what we have to do, apply the region east to the context filter. Now you see the region is added to hash color here. Now I can see from the selected region, it is showing top 10 customers like that. Let me know if you don't understand earlier concept. Like if I don't up, if
Venkat,
I,
sorry, 1 second. I just have this doubt.
yeah.
So, just before you added east, or sorry, region to the context filter, right? Just
Hmm.
before that, east was only showing 8
8, correct.
because from the top list of 10 customers or whatever by sales, east only had 8 to show as in top 10, right?
Out of those top, the still will show it will, these 8 will be taken from the top 10 customers only what we have initially.
Right. And then it will consider, okay, now
Hmm.
are the top 10 now selected from East? And if there are only 8 from that list, as
Yeah,
the reason,
correct.
yeah,
Out,
I am.
in that list, 8 are coming from east region.
Right.
Maybe these 8 people are also appear in the other regions also. If you go for south region, you see now it is showing 7 customers. So out of the top 10 customers, what it is shown earlier, out of those 10, these 7 people are coming from east south region also. Maybe these 7 persons are existing only in the south region, or these persons existing in the south region, east region, north region also, like that. Just remember this example, simple example. This student example you can remember and you can practice it actually. But whenever you apply it the context filter, the context filter will now act as a database. In the database I have only south data only, so this top 10 will be taken from the south only now, like that. Okay.
Got it.
Now, so it is very important interview question also, Pranit, like just practice it actually. So if you are able to answer these questions about context filter and all these, right, so you will be in actually. So most of the people, like even 5 6 years experience people, are not able to understand these concepts and all that. Because of that reason I'm just taking more time here and I'm just trying to explain with different data sets. If I go directly to the sample supersure, you may not understand. If you don't understand these concepts, try this only, try practice this simple data set for top one like that. Okay. Okay. Now I have one more requirement the user will ask. So as of now, it is showing uh, top 10 customers, uh, customer wise top 10 sales here. But the user will ask sometime, I want sum of sales for all these customers. Simple. You can simply remove the customer name from the row shelf. Simple. It will give you the top 10 customer total sales. Like that. Okay, so if you want top 10, you can show top 10. You can go to by formula also here. You can write sum of sales. I already told you, right? You can do anything here. Okay, okay. I think I want to tell you the same thing in the SQL also, but it is already late, I think. Maybe tomorrow I will cover how to achieve these same requirements in the SQL, custom SQL. So I have written here that thing, but it will take some more time for you to explain. It may take half an hour more time. So I don't want to do it now. So we'll meet tomorrow and we'll discuss that thing tomorrow. Just if I forget,